Hey folks, this is the Views Express live right here for the 1st of April 2014. How y'all doing? How are you all doing? Are you good? Because, hey, it's the 1st of April. Have you pranked anybody yet? Have you gotten pranked? I mean, seriously. I hate April 1st. I really do. I boycott it, man. If anybody says anything to me on April 1st, I just take it as a big freaking joke and I walk away. It's the boy who cried wolf, so I boycott April 1st. So anyway, hey, welcome to those in the Spreaker chat. Thank you very much. And for those on wakingupthemasses.com, I will get to your chat room soon. Just hang on to your horses there, folks. Me and my afternoon coffee. Hey, email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. Hey, I don't usually do this, but periodically I may say something. But now, excuse me, now I want to say this, and that is you can help Free America Radio Network get to the next level. We are broadcasting or micro-broadcasting at 1610 a.m. in the Chickamauga, Georgia area. Thank you, Bob Brutus. And we are on freeamericaradio.us. That is the website for the show. And we'd like to get a little more. Just up there a little more. We got it, So go to freeamericaradio.us. You can donate to the site. And right from there, let me go over there and I will, excuse me, a little something. I'm typing away here, folks. It's just noisy. I know it is. You can donate right there on the front page. And we do accept Bitcoin. So we do accept PayPal. So please, whatever you can do, please. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Hey, I want to give a big shout out to Mr. Bob Brutus over at wakingupthemasses.com. Go check out his show, Kicking the Capstone. I hear it in the mornings. He usually has it in the afternoons. So I'm kind of, I don't know. It's the RCA dog tilting his head. What? Anyway, so big shout out to him. Thank you very much there, Bob. Also, Nick Tucker over at Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook, distortedreality.podbean.com. Hey, you want to take a trip to Denmark? What? Yeah. Want to take a trip to Denmark? Yes. We now know. It has been confirmed. Bilderberg 2014 will be in Denmark. Yes. Founded in 1954, Bilderberg is an annual conference designed to foster dialogue between Europe and North America. Every year, 120 to 150 political leaders and experts from industry, finance, academia, and media are invited to take part in the conference. About 2/3 of the participants come from Europe and the rest from North America. 1/3 from politics and government, and the rest are from other fields. Yes, including Eric Schmidt, CEO of Google, including Bill Gates, former senior architect of Microsoft. There have been many, many people there. Coming up to the 5 after mark, folks. Hey, I'm just going to take a break later. I usually take a break at the 5 after mark, but there's so much importance in what I'm going to talk about today that I'm not beholden to any sponsors or anybody like that. So I'll take the breaks when I feel like them, because I'm a rebel. Anyway, go to Free America Radio on Facebook. I want to direct your attention to independent.co.uk. Yeah, I want to say this, and I want to, my disclaimer in before reading this article is this: me personally, I'm not racist or prejudiced in any way, shape, or form, nor am I against anybody's religion if that religion is not calling for, complete overthrow of any other type of religion. I have friends from every race, creed, color, and religion you can think of. I'm not racist in any way whatsoever. I am for the Constitution, freedom of speech. I'm for equal rights. I want people to be free. I don't care what color you are or what religious affiliation you have. But I will also say this, that if there are religions out there, even in the atheist community, even in the Ku Klux Klan community, even in the white supremacist community, there are religions, quote unquote, that want to do away with people who don't believe the same way they do. That is my disclaimer. So I want to point my fingers directly at these religions that are so radical they want to get rid of and have beheaded Christians and others who don't believe their way. Saudi Arabia declares all atheists are terrorists and in new law to crack down on political dissidents. Saudi Arabia has introduced a series of new laws which define atheists as terrorists, according to a report from Human Rights Watch. In a string of royal decrees, and an overreaching new piece of legislation to deal with terrorism generally, the Saudi King Abdullah has clamped down on all forms of political dissidence and protests that could, quote-unquote, harm public order. The new laws have largely been brought in to combat the growing number of Saudis traveling to take part in the civil war in Syria, who have previously returned with newfound training and ideas about overthrowing the monarchy. Can you say preemptive strike, folks? To that end, King Abdullah issued Royal Decree 44, which criminalizes, quote, participating in hostilities outside the kingdom, unquote, with prison sentences between 3 to 20 years, Human Rights Watch said. Yet, last month, further regulations were issued by the Saudi Interior Ministry, identifying a broad list of groups which the government considers to be terrorist organizations, including the Muslim Brotherhood. Article 1 of the new provisions defines terrorism as, quote, calling for atheist thought in any form or calling into question the fundamentals of the Islamic religion on which this country is based, unquote. Joe Stork, Deputy Middle East and North Africa Director of Human Rights Watch, said, quote, Saudi authorities have never tolerated criticism of their policies, but these recent laws and regulations turn almost any critical expression or independent association into crimes of terrorism. These regulations dash any hope of King Abdullah any hope that King Abdullah intends to open up a space for peaceful dissent or independent groups, unquote, Mr. Stork said. Human Rights Watch said the new regulations were also a setback to campaigns for the protection and release of a number of prominent human rights activists currently jailed in Saudi Arabia. It said Walid Abdul-Al-Qiyar and Mikhail al-Shamari recently lost appeals and will soon begin 3 months to 5-year respective sentences for criticizing Saudi authorities. The organization said the new terrorism provisions contain language that prosecutors and judges are already using to prosecute and convict independent activists and peaceful dissidents. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? Now, I want to say that we're not, well, I shouldn't generalize, but I'll rephrase it by saying this. The United States is a very tenuous, I don't know, it's weak, for layman's terms, friendship with Saudi Arabia. The only reason why we deal with Saudi Arabia is because we're in OPEC and we take their oil. That's the only reason why. When we have enough oil underneath the land that we live on to last us over 1,000 years. I mean, what the hell, folks? Now, here's the other side of that coin. We are no friends of those who are allies with Saudi Arabia. Even though they are doing some good things, Saudi Arabia is, we're no friends of their allies. And even if we are, or said that we are, or the state-run media says we are, we're not. Because if you look back in history, they turn on us on a dime, folks. They can turn on us like nobody's business. You know, you got Vladimir Putin over there, President Vladimir Putin of Russia, who can just, man, he can pull a switch and, our economy's done. And I think he already has, because China and Russia are working together to trade with each other, and they're going to dump the dollar as their reserve currency. They've already walked away from it. They've already made plans to do that. You know what's going to happen to our economy? Not much. Some prices will go up, some will go down. But it's not going to be so significant that it's going to hurt us in any way. Because you know why? We are the United States of America, and we are resourceful, and we will get on the other side of this little bump just fine. But your state-run media will tell you, oh, no, this is going to happen, and that's going to happen. Oh. Yeah, that's your same state-run media that allowed Al Gore to say that he invented the internet. MSNBC is losing viewers left and right because of stupid crap they do. CNN has dropped viewers. I mean, the state-run media is done, folks. You might as well just turn off the TV, forget about what they say, because they're pointless, okay? I mean, it's kind of sad when you're watching, the state-run media, and you turn on shows like The Daily Show with Jon Stewart and get better news than they're putting out, okay? I mean, this is sad. It's really sad, folks. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. How to Destroy the West. This was put up by National Liberty Foundation on Facebook. Corrupt the young, get them away from religion, encourage their interest in sex, make them superficial by focusing their attention on sports, sensational or sensual entertainments, and other trivialities. Always preach true democracy, but seize power as fast as ruthlessly as possible. Encourage government extravagance, I should say. Encourage government extravagance, destroy its credit, produce fear with rising prices, inflation, and general discontent, encourage disorders and foster a lenient attitude towards disorders, by spacious argument cause breakdown of old moral virtues, honesty, sobriety, self-restraint, cause registration of firearms to leave the population defenseless. Vladimir Lenin, 1921. Folks, this has been going on well over 100 years, and I can tell you this much. The people of the United States of America are at the point of really doing something. I don't know what it is. I'm not calling for any type of violent reaction or retaliation against what the government's doing. No. I encourage people to go on your overpasses, and hold signs up or whatever, or go in a corner, or, just go out and protest and civil disobedience. That's what I encourage. Do it peacefully and civilly and hopefully legally, and you don't, get handcuffed by a cop and shot or something, But I don't call for any violence. But when you have a group of people who literally are tyrannical and want to destroy the sovereignty of the United States of America and take away your rights, you, as God-fearing people, have the right to defend yourselves. And whether or not you believe in God, it doesn't really matter. You know that inwardly you have to protect yourself. Okay? We see it in the gladiatorial games that we view on our idiot boxes, in football and boxing and all of that. And no offense to those out there, but wrestling is the same way. By the way, that goes back to the Roman Greco wrestling back in the Roman days when they wrestled naked. Thank God we don't have that now. Okay? Just saying. But when you turn your eyes away from what matters, and what matters is the freedom and liberty that you enjoy, and you focus your attention on the distractions that they shove in your face to keep you away from the truth, there is the problem. There is the problem. It's just, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. If you are so distracted that you fail to ask questions about what's really going on, oh boy, we'll just put a sign on your neck, around your neck, that says something to the effect like, come pick me up because I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, there's a lot of people out there that just really don't care about politics. They don't care about what's going on. They don't care about, really their country. I don't get into... I had somebody tell me that. Politics is not my thing. What about your freedom and liberty? It's like talking to a brick wall sometimes. Hey, folks, it's the 20 after mark. I'm going to take a little minute and 45-second break here. So if you got to go do what you got to go do, then go do what you got to go do. I shall return. Email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com. If you're into liberty and libertarian values, tune in to The Angel Clark Show, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, at radiofreedom.us.
No elitist drivel, no media spin. Logic over emotion, fact over fiction. The home of independent conservative thought. The Conservative Voice with your host, Jeff Wagner, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
Around the planet on the World Wide Web.
The storm is on the horizon. The system of government that we currently have in this country is collapsing. We are on the brink of total disaster as a nation, a people, and a planet. Who or what can save us? Listen to The Views Expressed live, Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific, at freeamericaradio.us. Hey folks, welcome back. Thank you. This is the 1st of April 2014. You're listening to The Views Expressed live right here on the Free America Radio Network, broadcasting live from behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 9 from the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada. And we're on, of course, on the internet and all points all over the world. We are broadcasting live also on the WakingUpTheMasses.com site, which also micro-broadcasts out on 1610 AM in the Chickamauga, Georgia area. So welcome one and all in the Chickamauga, Georgia area. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook and check out some of the things I'm going to be talking about there, all right? Such as the MinorityReportBlog.com smoking gun. Whoops. Hello. I've got to turn down the... I went over to the WakingUpTheMasses.com site. And I hear my voice, and I'm like, oh my God, that's what I sound like. Oh my God. No, anyway, from the MinorityReportBlog.com, smoking gun, CIA email shows Team Obama misled country about Benghazi. Can I get a collective duh from all of you? Because, excuse me, we knew this, didn't we? We knew this. We have a massive problem in this country. And I think I mentioned it before the break. We have people that just don't care. You know, you tell them every day, hey, look, you got fluoride, in the water, you got GMOs, you got chemtrails, and they look at you like, what? What? But if you walk up to these same people and go, hey, man, did you catch, the football game last night? Did you catch a baseball game? They'll sit there for hours and talk to you. Yeah, 1984 by George Orwell was not supposed to be an instruction manual, okay? So, these people are just totally, I want to be nice. I want to be nice. But these people are totally brain dead. They have no clue what they're doing. None. Let's read that article from the MinorityReportBlog.com. Excuse me. Guy Taylor over at the Washington Times wrote this piece that the MinorityReportBlog.com has. Oh, Jesus. Just always with the automatic videos starting and all that crap. I hate that. Before the Obama administration gave an inaccurate narrative on national TV that the Benghazi attacks grew from an anti-American protest. I wanted to read that slow for you. Just grab that for a second, okay? You remember, don't you? You remember how that was, They said it started, as a result of a video. No. It didn't. Sorry. Have you seen the video? God. Worst piece of crap on the face of the planet if you want an independent film. Before the Obama administration gave an inaccurate narrative on national television that the Benghazi attacks grew out of an anti-American protest, the CIA's station chief in Libya pointedly told his superiors in Washington that no such demonstration occurred. Documents and interviews with current and former intelligence officials show. The attack was, quote, not an escalation of protests, unquote, the station chief wrote to then-Deputy CIA Director Michael J. Morrell in an email dated September 15, 2012, a full day before the White House sent Susan E. Rice to several Sunday talk shows to disseminate talking points, claiming that the Benghazi attack began as a protest over an anti-Islam video. That the talking points used by Mrs. Rice, who was then U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, were written by a CIA that ignored the assessment by its own station chief inside Libya, has emerged as one of the major bones of contention in the more than 2 years of political fireworks and congressional investigations into the Benghazi attack. What has never been made public is whether Mr. Morrell and others at the CIA explicitly shared the station chief's assessment with the White House or State Department. 2 former intelligence officials have told the Washington Times that this question likely will be answered at a Wednesday hearing of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence during which Mr. Morrell is scheduled to give his public testimony. You can also find that on WashingtonTimes.com. Click on the link in that article that says, read the rest. So, I don't know, folks. I mean, we can do whatever it is we can do as a group. We can focus our attention on those things that matter. And what happens is those people like me, like Nick Tucker, like others in the independent media, are always going to find the facts. They're not hidden, folks. They're out in plain sight. But because people are looking at it and can't believe it because of the way it's presented, they're just going to push it away and go have their beer and watch their ESPN. And that's my point. The things that we understand, the things that we know, are not so hidden anymore like they were 10, 20, 30 years ago. It's right out in front of you, right there. But the presentation that your state-run media gives to it, the time that the state-run media gives to it. Malaysia Airline MH370, for instance, 16 to 20 days of coverage for what? They still can't find the plane. By the way, it landed at Diego Garcia in some reports. Yeah, somebody had a cell phone and clicked the, the runway out there, whatever, Was I there? Do I know? Have I got inside information? No. But the evidence so far academically points to these people and the plane are at Diego Garcia. I could be wrong in that. If I am, okay. But so far, the evidence shows that. Okay? But the point is that the media is never going to tell you that. The state-run media is never going to tell you the truth. That's my point. They never will. Much like that witch Hillary Clinton getting up in front of Congress and being pressured to answer a question about it, and she says, what difference does it make? It makes a big difference when you lie. It was a gun-running operation that went belly up, and they tried to stop it in the midst of Ambassador Stevens going over there, they thought, well, the only way we're ever going to stop this now that he's on the ground is do this. And they sent in their operatives and did what they did. And they told the generals in the base that wasn't that far away to stand down. And the generals are like, are you out of your mind? No, we can't do that. What happened to these people? 4 innocent lives were snuffed out because the government wanted to cover up their gun running operation. They got their hand caught in a cookie jar, folks. Same way they did with Fast and Furious, running guns to Mexico. Okay? State-run media is not going to tell you that. Oh, they don't want to sound, whatever. You know, have you seen those videos? Speaking of state-run media, have you seen those videos where those reporters quit on TV? Quit right there on the show. They were on the show. They were doing their segment, and they both looked at one another and said to the camera, "This is our last day being here." You know. Go to youtube.com and look up Fox News affiliates quit on air or something of that nature. And you'll get a lot of them are quitting because they can't stand to lie anymore. Okay? They just can't stand it. Oh, go to Free America Radio on Facebook, please. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. From GuerrillaMediaNetwork.com, IPCC's doom and gloom global warming apocalypse is political theater, not real science. Can I get another collective duh from all you? Because we knew this quite a long time ago, didn't we? Mike Adams over at The Health Ranger, over the editor of naturalnews.com. They have some really excellent reporters over there, and they have some really excellent articles, and they do a great deal of research on most of this stuff. So I do, believe that they're credible because everything they talk about is pretty much right on. Couple of things I don't agree with, but, Naturalnews.com, the IPCC has just released its latest quote-unquote Apocalypse Now report, threatening all mankind with imminent self-destruction if industrial output of CO2 is not immediately and drastically curbed. The UN Global Government Report concludes that global warming is, quote, severe, pervasive, and irreversible, unquote, a position which seems to be a little more than a foregone death sentence for the human race, even if drastic changes are made right now. As head of a research laboratory myself, this is what Mike Adams has said. Yes, Mike Adams is a very, very intelligent man. He started computer companies. He's very, very big in all of this. So he would know. Okay. And he does a lot of great research as well. He says, as head of a research laboratory myself, I was the first scientist to discover industrial tungsten contamination in superfoods. I wanted to say that slowly because it's in your food, folks. He says, I share the overall concern with humankind's impact on the global ecosystem, yet an intelligent look at IPCC's report reveals it to be based on selective cherry-picked science, the wild exaggerations of Earth's historical cycles, and a bizarre ignorance of plant physiology and how CO2 helps restore deserts to farmlands, and the willful ignoring of far great threats to humankind, such as GMO pollution, heavy metals, contamination, and the resource extraction model driving our entire global economy. The IPCC's doom and gloom report, in other words, looks like a theater, not science. As part of that theater, the National Science Foundation actually awarded $700,000 for the production of what's being called Climate Change, the musical. And it's theater being put on for a specific purpose, to frighten the world's populations and national leaders into surrendering to global dictatorial control over national economies. If nations can be swept into a system where all forms of economic activity are tightly controlled by global dictators, including transportation, industry, agriculture, and even cow ranching, then all power has been usurped by the globalists. Remember, the IPCC is not saying, quote, we should all act locally to reduce CO2 emissions, unquote, as responsible citizens and communities. No. The IPCC is functioning as a propaganda branch of the UN, which is saying something far more sinister. Quote, put us in control of your national economies where we decide how much CO2 you are allowed to emit, unquote, and pay us taxes to boot. That's on Free America Radio on Facebook if you want to check that out. Folks, can we stop this insanity? Can we just, I don't mean to sound like Susan Powder or anything, but can we just stop the insanity? I mean, people think that there's certain things that we can do to stop this stuff from happening now. Well, I'll tell you what we can do right now. We can demand that our leaders follow the rule of law of the Constitution prior to 1871. That's what we demand of our leaders. And don't sit there and say, we can't demand our leaders anything. They're doing the best they can, but their hands are tied. You know why? Because the globalist kleptocrats and the corporations tied their hands and said, you're going to sit, you're going to shut up, and we're going to take over. Now, I just get to the point where I just want to scream half the time, and usually at a politician going, are you out of your flippin' mind? Oh, and by the way, if you're looking for Ted Cruz and Rand Paul to be, hey, the pom-pom girls of the political arena, it ain't going to happen, folks. They're bought and paid for just like everybody else. All right? What about Chris Christie? Yeah, right. Give him a donut and shove him off in a corner. He's no good either. Okay? I don't know what to tell you, folks. I really, really don't. I mean, our votes don't count. The political system is crushed under the heavy taxation of corporate control, and then we got to pay for it. Pretty much. Is that layman's terms? Nick Tucker from Distorted Reality is in the chat room. Am I even close to being accurate in that assessment? I mean, seriously. There's so many things that we don't look at, and people are just sitting there going, hey, man, give me a beer. I'm going to go watch some sports, okay? I mean, I don't mean to make fun of people in the South, okay? I got friends and family in the South. All right? I got people that live in South Carolina, probably Georgia, and all kinds of folks out down in that area. But, and that's on my, anyway. But anywho, what are we going to do? I mean, we see this stuff every day. We go out every day. We see the prices go up and down in the stores, at the gas pump, whatever. We see this. And what are you doing? Oh, well, that's just the way it is. It'll level out at some point. Okay, you're playing right into the hands of the liberal morons that run this country. And to the corporations that you give your tax money to, okay? I mean, seriously. Well, I mean, how do you see this? What do you see in all of this? I'd like to know. I really would. I don't know, folks. Hey, take a little break. Be back in a minute, 54 seconds. Talk to you when I return. Free America Radio at USA.com.
The views expressed. The high-caliber, armor-piercing Holotype round that pierces right through your soul. Every weekday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time on Spreaker.com.
From politics to pop culture, current events and human interest stories, and even the paranormal, an eclectic radio adventure, he discusses it all and takes your calls. He's Spencer Hughes on The Spencer Hughes Show on blogtalkradio.com.
No elitist drivel, no media spin. Logic over emotion, fact over fiction. The home of independent conservative thought. The Conservative Voice with your host, Jeff Wagner, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
It's Spencer Hughes from The Spencer Hughes Show on Spreaker.com, and you're listening to The Views Expressed Live.
Get ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey folks, how you doing? This is the Views Express Live right here on the Free America Radio Network, broadcasting live from behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 9, in the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada. This is the Views Express Live. Yes, it is, folks. I'm the only one that can talk over my intro. Hey, isn't that fun? Isn't that's just fun, isn't it? Oh my God. Yeah. You know, there's two things I gotta remember doing before starting a show. One, turn off my cell phone. Oh, goodness. It's the 1st of April, 2014, and this is the Free America Radio Network right here. Oh, my goodness. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. The Bill of Rights has been revoked. Excuse me? Apparently, it has. Let's go find out. Matthew Peavy posted this at Uncle Sam's Misguided Children at misguidedchildren.com. And just to give you an FYI, I know a couple of people who were part of that group at one point, and then they said, oh, they sold out. Really? Seriously? You can't miss this article. It's got Sotomayor, Justice Sotomayor's picture on it. Bill of Rights has been revoked. While you were focused on the missing airliner, there was a little case being heard in front of the Supreme Court called U.S. versus Castleman. The case was a landmark win for gun control left wing, but what no one realized is that our Constitution no longer affords us, quote-unquote, rights. No longer rights that are inviolate. The case was decided March 28, 2014. The U.S. Supreme Court unanimously ruled that the Bill of Rights is no longer made up of, quote-unquote, declaratory and restrictive clauses. They are judicially now perceived as, quote-unquote, privileges. A privilege can be revoked for the slightest of legislative causes by a quote-unquote, but a quote-unquote right is, quote, forever inviolate, unquote. We, the people, no longer have that. U.S. versus Castleman. The case was about a domestic violence, a cause we can all get behind. But in the end, the Supreme Court has taken away not just domestic violence abusers' right to bear arms, but all of the people, and in turn has made all of the Bill of Rights void and made it a Bill of Privileges that can be revoked. The preamble states, the conventions of a number of the states having at the time of their adopting the Constitution expressed the desire in order to prevent misconstruction or abuse of its powers that further declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added, and as extending the ground of public confidence in the government will best ensure the beneficent, ends of its institution. That is what that says. While the constitutional conventions desired further declaratory and restrictive clauses, the Supreme Court has now taken our rights without anyone noticing and replaced them with privileges. It's time to wake up, America. First this year, the NDAA gives Obama the power to arrest anyone without reason and detain them indefinitely. Now we have our Constitution shredded, and still we just move along like nothing's happened. There is a movement in this country that is gaining momentum called the constitutional emergency. It may be our best hope at restoring the America we all love, or loved. Patriots are needed and sacrifices will be made. If you love the way things used to be and the way the founders intended, check them out and pray that we make the journey succeed. I don't know, folks. What's your take? If you're in the Spreaker chat, please let me know. For those over at wakingupthemasses.com, come on over to Spreaker. Yes, join me in the chat room there. I know sometimes people go, why don't you go on your website and go to the, chat room there? Why don't you go on? It's real simple. If I have too many tabs open on my browser, it kind of burps and everything goes away. So I like to keep the show running, So anyway, my take on this, folks, is this. If this is true, then we're screwed. And there's nothing left to lose. There's nothing left to lose in regards to standing up for what we know is right, what we know has worked for us for a very long time. And if that standing up requires that we, let's just say, as William Shakespeare once wrote, take up arms against the sea of troubles, then damn it, that's what we're going to do. He didn't write that last part. I just said that. We have a tyrannical government in Washington, D.C. We have a non-citizen Marxist globalist puppet in Washington, D.C. We have corporations that are overtaxing you and pushing you into bankruptcy. We are taking this crap. Why? Why? 2 words. Cha-ching. Yes. It's all about the money, folks. It's all about the money they can take from you and put into their pockets or into their underground facilities, or more money that they can take from you and your taxes and build compounds that they can go hide behind. I'm going to say this to the globalists out there and to the NSA and the CIA who just might be listening today. You can run, but you can't hide. So you might as well do what is right and stand up for the Constitution of the United States of America and the Bill of Rights prior to 1871. And I guarantee you we will protect you as much as we possibly can. Because if you're going to fight against us, you're not going to have a good day. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. Because we, the people, have the power. We will defend ourselves against any tyranny within our borders or outside of our borders. And we will do what we have to do. Is it going to be a sacrifice? I mean, I don't talk about that much. Am I afraid to die in the pursuit of freedom and liberty? No, because our ancestors, our founding fathers knew what was happening and they knew the risk. They understood that once they put their foot on that battlefield and forced the tyranny out of this country, they knew the risk. They knew the risk. More people died in the Civil War in 1861 to 1865 than died in the War of Independence. I could be wrong on those numbers, but it's probably not that far off. So, where are you going to be when the American people call on you? Where are you going to be when you see militarized law enforcement and blue helmets walking through your neighborhood? Where are you going to be when you're at work and your kids are in daycare somewhere and you can't get to them? What are you going to do? That's why I say right now our voices, as loud as we can make them and as long as we can hold them, we need to get out and protest this bull crap right now. I've had enough of this bull crap. I walk around this city in Reno, Nevada, and I'm seeing people with what I call casino vision, tunnel vision, if you will. Oh, let's go take $100. I think I can parlay that into a couple of thousand. Really? And they walk out broke as hell. What are you going to do? James Neighbors over at Overpass. What is that? What? I gotta go find it now. Overpasses. O4A.org. Excuse me. So excited, I just can't talk today. Overpassesforamerica.com. He stands up there. He does what he does. And people across the nation are doing the same thing. But the cities are striking back. Dallas, Texas. Yo, Texas, what the hell's wrong with you folks? People down there in government just passed a law that said no one over the overpasses protesting, nothing, you can't do it. They are telling you you no longer have the right to free speech. And Justice Sotomayor in the Supreme Court has said that the Bill of Rights is now a Bill of Privileges. But that was her. What do the other justices say? Okay? Nick Tucker in the Spreaker chat. Nick Tucker from Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker and distortedreality.podbean.com. I got word that he was going to put up another episode. He says the Constitution of the United States, to hell with the Constitution, for the United States. Corporate BS. Constitution of the United States as it was and should still be prior to 1871, yes. Should be for the U.S., not of the U.S., yes. Made a little mistake there. Let's take a page out of the Book of Iceland, shall we? Iceland, small country, got sucked into the European Union, and then owed a whole bunch of digital debt. That's what derivatives are, folks. Derivatives, nothing. Have you played Monopoly lately? You know that money in there? That's your derivatives. Hello. It is said that the United States of America owes the people of the United States of America owes somewhere in the vicinity of about $2 quadrillion of debt. That includes the $17 trillion of debt on the books, which is at usdebtclock.org. But we don't owe that. And the people and the people in Iceland told their politicians, "What? We don't owe that." So the people, along with their, let's just say, their version of their provost marshal and some of their military folk, went into their politicians and went into the halls of their elected officials and arrested every single damn one of them and kicked the rest of them out and told the EU, kiss my butt, we don't want to be a part of you. 6 years, 7 years later, they're doing damn good. It's time that we do that here. May 16th, American Spring, May 16th. If you're anywhere near Washington, D.C., you better be in the state, in the country's capital, right there in Washington, D.C., May 16th. Because it's going down. And I wish I was going. Hell, I wish I was going to Denmark for the Bilderberg meeting, but I can't. You go to the American Spring, May 16th in Washington, D.C., and you watch a lot of people that are going to be very pissed off at what's going on. And we can do it locally, folks. We can do it locally. May 16th, the day we revolt against the unconstitutional policies and laws that our cities, counties, and states have written. And folks, with every fiber in your body, be as peaceful as you can, and do not be aggressive. They're looking for us to take the first shot so they can clamp down and suspend the Constitution of the United States of America. Oh, and by the way, each state has a constitution, and it doesn't take but a little signature on a piece of paper by a governor and a few of the, I think it's 2/3 of the state legislatures, to declare martial law. So don't do anything stupid on May 16th. Just go out there and yell as loud and as long as you can. Hold your signs. Do whatever it is you got to do. But don't get yourself arrested, okay? But just on the off chance that you just get a little too excited, take some bail money with you. Okay. I wish I was going to Washington, D.C. I'd be there jumping on the White House fence telling them, get your ass out here. You got some explaining to do. Bottom line is, folks, this country is yours, not the corporations. This country is yours. This country stands on its own with you because you are the foundation of the freedom and liberty in this country. You are the foundation of the entrepreneurial spirit in this country. You and your ancestors and your fathers and grandfathers and great-grandfathers were the ones that drove the trucks and drove the trains and fixed cars and did everything and worked in the delis and fed people. You are the backbone of America, not this corporate bull crap that we have now. And my question to you still stands. My question to you still stands. What are you going to do about it? FreeAmericaRadio.us. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com is the email. Let me know what you think. I shall return. It's the top of the hour. I shall return after this. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. Check out some of the articles there as well from yesterday. I'll talk to you in a bit.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal. The government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Get your morning started with the Morning Brew on 92.6 The Blitz. Music from the 60s, 70s, and more. The Blitz 92.6. Go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com.
Free Talk Live.
You give someone an ounce of liberty and they'll go around abusing it and harming everyone else with it.
If we legalize guns...
People will be shooting people everywhere.
Right.
If you legalize prostitution, people will be having sex on the street corners. If you legalize drugs, we'll have heroin vending machines in the streets. We've heard it all on Free Talk Live. They take it to the most absurd, illogical extremes, and you're absolutely right, Alexander. It's okay for them to have freedom.
Yeah, you can give them a gun. They won't go around shooting people. But watch out with their neighbor, because you give them a gun, they'll go around in a rampage around the city, killing everyone.
But yes, they can be trusted, and apparently the government can be trusted too, because magically, we only elect the best of the best, the cream of the crop. The bureaucrats that are administering these programs are the upper echelon of society, the most trustworthy individuals.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes when I squint, I swear I can see a halo above their heads.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Are you tired of the mainstream media? The media that is so biased, you wouldn't even let your dog listen to it? Well, there's an answer. Angel Club.
On RadioFreedom.us.
Just listen to her fans.
One hell of a writer. I've read a considerable amount of her articles and quite impressed.
Until Angel, my life was void of meaning.
I want to thank you for saving my goldfish from drowning.
I love Angel Clark's honesty and her down-to-earth concern about the people.
She is very dedicated.
Angel, we need you.
This Angel's a sexy woman. I think she's going to go places, but I don't know where.
Ladies and gentlemen, she does a good job.
If it wasn't for Angel,
you saved his life, and I will be indebted to you forever. SussexCountyAngel.com.
Be a part of Angel's Army.
Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. on RadioFreedom.us.
Free Talk Live.
Do you guys have a zombie plan? I'm just wondering what this country's going to do if we had some sort of apocalypse like that.
Like a zombie attack.
Do?
People coming out of the ground, like in Thriller, like in Michael Jackson's
like 28
Thriller.
days later, like a virus or something.
Oh, okay.
I mean, people don't come back to life.
Well, no, there are different kinds of zombies out there.
Now,
but let me go through the types of zombies. I mean, you've got the ones that can crawl out of the ground, right? And then she was talking about like an infection kind of zombie, like a la Resident Evil, for instance. So ideally, if you're going to have to perish at the hands of a zombie, which would be the preference? Would you prefer to have your brains eaten, or would you prefer to become one of them?
I think I'd rather just die. The last thing I'd want is, of course, the people you split up with. Then I'm talking my wife and my child. I'm coming back. I'm wanting to eat Laura's brains. It's bad. It's bad.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. What does freedom mean? Tune in to LRN.FM to find out. LRN.FM is the Liberty Radio Network, a collection of live talk radio and podcasts, all coming from a principled pro-liberty perspective. LRN.FM show hosts aren't left, right, or conspiracy kooks. You can tune in 24/7 to LRN.FM via your phone, computer, satellite, and more. Listen free anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Hey, folks, how you doing? This is the Views Expressed live right here on the Free America Radio Network, freeamericaradio.us, freeamericaradio@usa.com. We're also broadcasting on Waking Up the Masses Network and micro-broadcasting on 1610 AM in the Chickamauga, Georgia area. Within a few miles radius, anyway. How y'all doing out there in the Chickamauga, Georgia area? Yeah. Things don't look all that rosy, do they, folks? Yeah. Justice Sotomayor said that, we no longer have a Bill of Rights, according to the story over there at you can check it out on Free America Radio on Facebook. Scroll on down, you'll see her happy little face there. From misguidedchildren.com, posted yesterday. Yeah. We no longer have a Bill of Rights, folks. We have a Bill of Privileges, according to her, in the U.S. versus Castleman case. You might want to check that out yourself. Just go to Free America Radio on Facebook. The preamble of the Bill of Rights. Congress of the United States begun and held at the city of New York on Wednesday, the 4th of March, 1791. Remember that, folks, the 4th of March. Okay. The conventions of a number of the states having at the time of their adopting the Constitution expressed a desire in order to prevent misconstruction or abuse of its powers that further declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added, and as extending the ground of public confidence in the government, it will best ensure the beneficent ends of its institution, resolved by the Senate and the House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress, assembled 2/3 of both houses, concurring that the following articles be proposed to the legislatures of the several states as amendments of the Constitution of the United States, all or any of which articles, when ratified by 3/4 of the said legislatures, to be valid to all intents and purposes as part of the said Constitution vis-a-vis. Articles in addition to an amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America, proposed by Congress and ratified by the legislatures of the several states, pursuant to the 5th article of the original Constitution. Okay. Amendment number 1. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. The government cannot prohibit our freedom of speech or abridge the freedom of speech, which literally means if you look around your town, you'll see free speech zones. That is entirely abridging. That's abbreviating. That's cutting certain things off, if I'm correct in that. Your freedom of speech. Amendment number 2, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Hey, United Nations, you should read that. Either that or kiss my ass. Amendment number 3. Now, you don't see this much, but back in them days, back in the days of old, you saw this. Amendment number 3. No soldier shall in the time of peace be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. Whose law? Man's law. Think about it. Not nature's law, not the laws that govern nature, that we are inherently adapt to our situation and have the right to protect ourselves. No. But man's law. And that's all these are, by the way. Amendment number 4. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. How clear is that, folks? Amendment number 5. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces, and you've seen court-martials within the last several years, right? Or in the militia when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor militarized law enforcement, folks. Look around. It's judge, jury, and executioner right there. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb. Double jeopardy clause right there, folks. Nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Eminent domain. Look that one up. Amendment number 6. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right of a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. We don't have much of that anymore, folks. Amendment number 7. In suits at common law, go look that up. That's straight out of the UK. Straight out of Parliament, folks. In suits at common law, where the value in controversy shall exceed, back then it was $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of the common law. Amendment number 8. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. Well, it's cruel and unusual punishment for me to pay an outrageous freaking fine for something that should not be against the law. How's that, folks? Amendment number 9. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. Let me read that again. The Amendment number 9, the enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed, to denied or disparage others retained by the people. Amendment number 10, hey, states, governors, hello, legislatures, get your head out of your butt. Several states have now used this to pass legislation to really deny the federal government from coming in and enforcing their unconstitutional laws. They've used this amendment number 10 for this specific reason. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution nor prohibited by it to the states are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. Those are the first 10 amendments of the Bill of Rights of the Constitution of the United States of America. And I got to tell you, that's 1791, folks. 80 years later, the corporations took over after the Civil War. 5 years after the Civil War in 1871. Guess who bought America? You got it, the same people we fought against to take it. But it came in the guise of being humanitarian, apparently. The Rothschilds bought the United States of America. I say bought in quotes because they helped us. The United States of America is not what you think it is after 1871. It's a corporation. Go look it up. I know Nick Tucker's listening to the show. If you can pop in a link, I can tell him about it, or a little one-paragraph blurb. I know you've been looking this up, too. I don't have... I'll be sitting here typing away on my keyboard. You'll hear it, so I don't want to interrupt the show by doing that. We were bought off in 1871. That was it. Corporations took over. In 1913, actually in 1910, on the island, on Jekyll, the creature from Jekyll Island, yeah, a bunch of big wigs in business got onto this little island in secret and said, hey, how are we going to do this? Well, they figured out a way. They went to the president of the United States of that time, around 1912, somewhere around in there, later 1912, and said, we have to do this. We need to set up a bank for us, just a clearinghouse for our own money. We're working, we're corporations, we're working, but we don't want to put it into the mainstream of banks because, we just don't want to hassle with that. They twisted President Woodrow Wilson's arm in 1913. He signed into law, behind closed doors, without congressional approval, the Federal Reserve Act and the Internal Revenue Act, making the Federal Reserve a bank, quote unquote, with no connection to the federal government at all, but taking money from the Treasury of the United States of America, like a 2-for-1 deal. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers put their money in, the Treasury dumped some money in there, How do you think they financed World War I and World War II, folks? They both financed it from both sides. Okay? Go look it up. It's all in. You've got to read the history of that time prior to the revisionist history of the 1955, 1960s. But yeah, it's all there. It's all right out in front of your face. They're not hiding it anymore, folks. 1933, the New Deal came along, which wasn't a new deal. It was just us shaking hands with the enemy going, yeah, we're a corporation now, so we can deal with you, but you're going to have to deal with us, so here's what you're going to do. Okay? So We get into World War II. Now get this, folks. We had already been in Europe at that time. From I believe it was 1934, 1935, battling certain areas. We had, ambassadors over there. We're just, it's all theater, folks. It's all charade. It's all a facade. Oh, look, people are trying to make peace. No, they're not. They're trying to develop a way to take money away from people, to take people's rights, to enslave people. That's all it was. But in 1933, the Rothschild connections with the OSS, which is now the CIA, or I should say the Rockefellers' connection with the OSS and the Rothschilds' connections with the British intelligence, found this little guy, little weird kind of facial hair, and set this person up in power over a whole country and rigged the election. Yeah, we know that guy now by the name of Adolf Hitler. They set him up. They set him up. They found somebody else to train him to be more animated in front of people. Now, he wasn't a natural speaker, folks. He was not a natural orator. And he had to be more animated to get people to look at him. They didn't have teleprompters back then, so they had to do something. So here we are, 2014, looking at all this stuff going, why are we in the shape that we're in? We're in the shape we're in, folks, because of you. We allowed this. I saw this stuff coming. I'm sure Nick Tucker saw this stuff coming. I know that a bunch of people saw this stuff coming. And they were yelling at the top of their lungs, look, this is what's happening. And if the trends continue, this is what's going to happen. But the rest of the general public were sitting around going, hey, man, pass me a beer. I want to watch the game. Meh. Yeah, pretty much, folks. Pretty much. And it's sad. It really is sad. Because I look out at America. I look out there and I see a bunch of people really pissed off. And that's one thing you don't want to do, folks. You don't want to piss off somebody that knows a lot of what's going on behind the curtains. We're just biding our time, folks, before the final nail is hammered into the coffin of freedom, liberty, and sovereignty of the United States of America. And then all bets are off. And then it's like, hell is going to come upon the United States in a way that I don't even think the elites even imagined it would. 200, well, I would guess, and I'm only guessing at this, folks, 200 million people with over 300 million firearms. The elites got a problem with this. And that's why they're trying to shut down all these, all these areas. I mean, look at New York State. Look at New York State. Just flat out just said, we don't need you people here who are, patriots and gun lovers and all that. Guess what? People are leaving New York State. So are gun manufacturers. Okay, you don't want us here? Bye, we're leaving. Guess where they went? They went to Kentucky, Tennessee, Texas. They went to places where people like their guns, okay? Hell, I'm even thinking on going to Montana. Yeah. Well, where I'd go in Montana is only about a hop, skip, and a jump right over to North Dakota. Hello? Another gun-loving state. Montana, North Dakota. Problem is, folks, let me direct your attention to this. Propaganda. The state-run media has this little problem. It lies. And so it has to tell you a lie to make you believe the first lie, but they're lying to you anyway, but they're trying to tell you that they're not lying. Did I confuse you yet? No, they're lying through their teeth, and they know it, and they don't care because they're paid off by the elites, by Rupert Murdoch, by George Soros, by Media Matters. I can go down the list. So, what are we going to do? What, as a group of American patriots, are we going to do come summertime? Because let me put it to you this way. Midterm elections are this year. Actually, I should say this. Your votes don't count, period, end of sentence, done. They're going to have midterm selections of people they want in office. We're not going to have a say, but it's going to look like we have a say because they're going to lie to us and say, have you voted yet? No. I'm going to say this again. I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong in this, but I would say just before or shortly thereafter of the midterm elections this November, President Obama is going to suspend the Constitution and implement martial law. Don't quote me on that because I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. But I wouldn't put it past him to do that. But look at it this way. We've got a chance. If hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people stand up and take to the streets, we have the last chance to stand up for the sovereignty, liberty, and freedom of this nation. Okay? Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. Kickassfacts.com. Portugal decriminalized all drugs 11 years ago, and the number of addicts has been halved since. They treat addiction as a public health issue instead of a crime. That's what we need to do here. But unfortunately, folks, we can't and we won't. Do you know why? Profit. And the prison industrial complex. You put a person who's been caught with 2 or 3 pounds of marijuana in jail for 5 years, you've got yourself an employee of the state. Oh, yeah. Go look it up. Go to startpage.com, prison industrial complex. Go look at what they do. They build stuff in their shops, like desks that they send out. Did you know that they build some of the stuff that we buy in our stores? Yeah. Not in Walmart. Walmart, that's all China crap. That's China Mart. Go look it up. I mean, it's right there. There's more, from what I gathered and from what others have said, and I don't know this as a fact, but there are more prisons per state per capita than there are high schools and middle schools. I mean, we got a problem with that. Okay? How about taking all those prisoners that are on death row, put them in the military, put them on the front lines? You were a badass in the streets. How about being a badass on the front lines? Somebody once told me, well, yeah, if you did that, they'd be killing one another. Well, sure saves me a bunch of tax dollars from keeping their ass in prison, doesn't it? That's cruel and unusual punishment. They terrorized our streets. They can go terrorize some other country. You know? Sounds good to me. I'm thinking. I don't know, folks. I don't know. Hey, I am going to be back in just a little over a minute. Stay tuned, I shall return. What is reality? The foundation of reality is based on many concepts. Each person perceives reality differently. In the book, The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman, they explore the hidden infrastructure of reality. Get your copy today at Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman. Want to know what's happening all around us? You do? Great! Come check out the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, Friday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. Have a nice trip. See you next fall. Attending their daughter's wedding in South Africa promised to be a vacation of a lifetime. But first, they had to face the treacherous gauntlet known as modern-day travel. Waiting for them on the other side of the world are an honest-to-goodness safari with amorous lions and elephants with anger issues, a life-affirming visit to a South African school, and an anxious bride and groom standing patiently at the airport with a sign that reads, "What took you so long?" The answers lie within the pages of Please Hold Thumbs, a not-so-round trip to South Africa, a true tale of turbulence and triumph from travel mug Scott Cherney, author of Red Asphalt. Available at Amazon.com in paperback and on the Kindle.
This is Michael Vera with Late Night in the Midlands, and you're listening to the Views Expressed live with your host, Reverend Wayne Pierce, on the Free America Radio Network.
Listen to Crash Talk with your host, Christopher John Taylor, on HTLA973.com.
Misfit is a misfit.
Samo.
Ignorant of hygiene, destructive, disorderly, and totally disrespectful.
It's the 5:15 with Samo on Samo Radio.
AM 1700 Daytona Beach, Holly Hill.
And Southnet 1.
Take the last train to Foxville. See them moving run. He's leaving. On that midnight train to Georgia.
Sarasota's home for R&B and soul. The Razor Blade Express with Dave the Rave.
Welcome back to the Views Express Live right here on the Free America Radio Network. Yes, go check out LateNightInTheMidlands.com with your host, Michael Vera. Yes, they cover everything. Believe it, man, because, man, I've heard stuff on there I'm not going to believe this person, man. But they cover everything. They talk about everything. Believe me. Late Night in the Midlands with Michael Vera. Go check it out. Thank you very much. We are back. Few more minutes of the show. I don't know, folks. From themindunleashed.org, I covered some of this yesterday. Nonconformity and free thinking now considered mental illnesses. Is nonconformity and free thinking a mental illness? I read this yesterday, but it's good to point out that there are people out there that think that if you think for yourself, you're stupid, and you think for yourself, you're mentally ill. What? You think for yourself? Oh my God, you need help. Some people out there think for themselves more than others, and, well, we know who they are. According to the newest addition to the DSM-4, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual on Mental Health, by the way, you can find that at Barnes & Noble, it certainly is nonconformity and free thinking a mental illness? The manual identifies a new mental illness called, get this, folks, quote-unquote, oppositional defiant disorder, or, what's that spell? ODD. Defined as ongoing pattern of disobedience, hostile and defiant behavior. Symptoms include questioning authority, negativity, defiance, argumentativeness, and being easily annoyed. You might want to go read the rest of that. Oh, by the way, the new mental illness identified by the DSM-4 include arrogance, narcissism, above-average creativity, cynicism, and antisocial behavior. In the past, these were called personality traits, but now they're diseases, and there are treatments available. All of this is a symptom of our over-diagnosing and over-medicating culture. In the past 50 years, the DSM-4 has gone from 130 to 357 mental illnesses. A majority of these illnesses afflict children. Although the manual is an important diagnostic tool for the psychiatric industry, it has also been responsible for social changes. The rise in ADD, bipolar disorder, and depression in children has been largely because of the manuals identifying certain behaviors as symptoms. A Washington Post article observed that if Mozart were born today, he would be diagnosed with ADD and medicated into barren normality. By the way, folks, I've said this yesterday. Former members of the American Psychiatric Association, former members, have come out and said that that all these diagnostic manuals, they're all bogus. Every single symptom in there, every single illness, every single diagnosis, everything is bogus. You know why they keep making these diagnoses and these illnesses and all this? You know why? Cha-ching. Grant money for their organizations and colleges and all of that. I tell you all the time, folks, connect the dots and follow the money, because you'll find the people in charge. When the last edition of the DSM-4 was published, identifying the symptoms, the last edition, the newest edition came out this year, the DSM-5, identifying the symptoms of various mental illnesses in children, there was a jump in the diagnosis and the medication of children. Some states have laws that allow protective agencies to forcibly medicate and even make it a punishable crime to withhold medication. Have you seen that in the news recently, folks? Parents are being arrested for not medicating their children because the state and the school, the governmental indoctrination institutes that they send their kids to, are saying, oh, these kids have ADD. Look, they're doing this. This paints a chilling picture for those of us who are nonconformists, although the authors of the manual claim no ulterior motives, but simply better diagnostic practices. The labeling of free thinking and nonconformity as mental illnesses has a lot of potential for abuse. It can easily become a weapon in the arsenal of a repressive state. And the source on that article at themindunleashed.org is Free Thinking and Mental Illness. It is from offthegridnews.com. So that's the source on that. Folks, pardon my language. Well, I'm not going to go there. I know some of you probably have your kids hanging around you right now, so I'm not going to go there. I want you people to challenge yourselves to do something to defend the Constitution and the Bill of Rights prior to 1871. I want you to challenge yourself to go and do something in support of freedom and liberty in this country. I would suggest a few things, but you can do what you want. I will put out what I would like to see done. Go to your schools, tell your child's principal in that school, you are either going to do this and teach my children these things, or I'm taking my child out of school until you do what I tell you to do. And if that is not going to happen, if they don't, you parents have to come together. All of you have to come together and do this. And if things in your child's school doesn't change, go to the administration building and tell them, hey, don't we vote you into this position? Do we not vote you into this position? How'd you like to not be in this position next election cycle? You are going to do this. And the reason why I say that, folks, is because of the fact that your children are your responsibility. Period. You feed them, don't you? They got a roof over their head, don't you? Don't they? You put clothes on their back, do you not? They're your responsibility. Either do it to protect the minds and the lives of your children, or they are going to be And the first thing you need to do is get Common Core out of everything. Now, I've been told on both sides of that argument, Common Core is just fine because it allows the children I can't remember the line the person told me. I can't remember this exactly what the person told me, but it was similar to the fact that it allows the children to be to free up their mind to look at the concept, not each individual thing to put them together, but to look at the concept. Whole word memorization. Go to startpage.com, look that one up. Whole word memorization. Okay, look that one up. Go look up No Child Left Behind. You'll see the kind of crap they're putting in school now under Communist Core. Folks, I don't know what else to tell you. You know, as William Cooper says, if you don't get it, it's beyond my capability to explain it to you. But I'm going to reverse that and say, I'll make it very simple for you to understand. You, your children, they're your life. You will do anything for them. Would you not? Then what are you going to do? I know in Nevada, I haven't talked to any of the school officials yet or talked to the district yet, but I don't even know if they have Common Core here. And if they do, holy crap. So I'm going to say this. If anybody, I'm going to put this word out. If anybody, come May 16th, let me tell you what, I think that's on a Saturday. Let me go look. You can check it out yourself. It's on a Friday, okay? It's on a Friday. Nobody wants to get off work and go do something, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Saturday. Mark this on your calendars. Saturday, okay? May 17th. You got to do something in your own town to demand that your lawmakers and your minions of the New World Order hear your voice. You must do something. You can do it on May 16th as well if you don't go to work that day, because you know you got to take care of your family, right? Maybe call in sick that day. Maybe, I don't know, get one of your personal days off or something. Just, I want May 16th off. Whatever. May 16th and 17th. And if you happen to live in the Reno, Nevada area or near here, like in Lake Tahoe or Carson City or Sparks or Spanish Springs or whatever, I'll meet you downtown. I'll meet you downtown here in Reno. We have a rink. I call it a rink. It's downtown by U.S. Bank and building, and it's on the Truckee River. If you can get here, please do. I'll meet you down there. If you got a sign, bring it. May 17th. I may even do it the 16th, but I don't know. I'll fill you in on the details later. If you want to email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com. By the way, if you're going to do this in your area, I want to see video. I want to see pictures. I want to put it out on the website for you to get credit for it so that the rest of America knows that we, the people on the west coast of the United States of America, are doing something about it. And folks in California, hey, folks in California, dude, you're going to the beach, man. What the hell are you people smoking out there? Your state is gone. Your state is gone. The liberals are saying, well, I don't want to classify all liberals as stupid, but the majority of them in California have just said, oh, let's give licenses to illegal aliens. Oh, by the way, let's give them in-state tuition. How's that? When the people are going, are you out of your flippin' minds? Jerry Brown, step down. Hey, that's a good mantra, isn't it? Go around the state capitol in California on May 16th and say that. Jerry Brown, step down. Jerry Brown, step down. If you live in San Diego and L.A. or whatever, or near Sacramento, go up there and do that. Get that ass wagon out of there. Put him on a fast train out of town, because that boy don't need to be in Sacramento. He's the dumbest piece of crap on the face of this planet. He better take two of his associates with him, too. Barbara Boxer and Dianne Feinstein. Get their asses out of there, too. As a matter of fact, throw them in prison. Because they violated the Constitution and they committed crimes against humanity. Can you say Nuremberg trials? May 17th. I'll fill you in on the details later. Go to freeamericaradio.us and I'll put it up there in the news blog. But if you have any questions, please email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. I'm just fired up about this, folks. If you live and I know Nick Tucker lives down around the Las Vegas area, so if something is going to happen down there, I want to see it. I want to hear about it. I want to hear what is happening in Las Vegas. Is that Clark County? Is that right? Yeah, I want to hear what's happening down there. As a matter of fact, Nick, I'm going to call you after the show. You going to hang around a bit, or you got something to do? Just let me know when's a good time to call you. I'm going to call you off air. I got an idea. Hang out, dude. But we got to do something to take this country back away from a tyrannical government. And if we don't, hello, can you say FEMA camps? Oh, there's no such thing as FEMA camps. There isn't. In the 1990s, President Bill Clinton closed off a whole lot of military bases to save money. Oh, no, he didn't close bases overseas. No. He closed bases in the U.S. Why? Because his globalist partners wanted him to. His bosses in the New World Order said, we don't have the money to build new camps, so you're going to have to close up some military bases, and then we'll turn those into camps. I know. You're out there going, no, that's not right. He didn't do that. Yeah, he did. Go look up Kellogg, Brown, and Root. KBR. They're a contractor for the Department of Homeland Security and for FEMA that operate these camps. Go look it up, folks. By the way, let me a little something here, a little FYI for you. You don't have to believe anything that I say. I just hope that I encourage you enough to go look this stuff up on your own. Oh, and by the way, you can take my information and go look it up if you think I'm wrong. Because I know some of you jackasses out there are going to find your own information contradictory to anything that I say, and you're going to try to purport that to be, oh, that's fact. It's fact. Look, you're wrong. Really? You're a jackass. Go away. Take my information. Go check it out. I'm talking to the detractors out there that think you're one of those conspiracy kooks. No, I'm a realist. Hello? Sun comes up in the east, sets in the west. Yeah, pretty simple, folks. 1 + 1 is 2 in my book. What's it in yours? Oh, wait, don't tell me because you learned from Common Core. Well, what does it mean to have one? What? Folks, I'm old enough to remember when they had, quote-unquote, new math introduced into our classes when I was a kid. I just got used to the old math. What is this new math? Well, you got to do it this way. And it's, no. I like 1 + 1 is 2. Hello, makes it real simple for me. Okay. I can look at Albert Einstein's theory of general relativity and look at that thing and go, okay, he missed it here and he missed it there, but he changed it on purpose because if he didn't, well... And then some doofus, I shouldn't say doofus, I'm sorry, some really smart guy came along and said, hey, wait a minute, if we did this and do this, we can create an atomic bomb. Hey! So they did. And poof, there went Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And the end of World War II. Folks, I'm ranting. I'm so pissed off right now that, yeah. Now you know what goes on inside my head sometimes. My God, I'm a nonconformist. I'm a liberty lover. I am a constitutionalist. I stand on freedom and liberty in this country. I stand on the principles of sovereignty in this country. And yes, I stand with those people that say they are sovereign citizens. Go check that one out, startpage.com. If you are against anything that I say or that I am, the burden of proof is on you. Prove yourself right. Bring it to the table of debate, and we will discuss it reasonably and rationally. And, I'll find out why you think the way you do. Got it? Hopefully this week I'll have a guest on the show. Hopefully. Cross my fingers. Hopefully. Still haven't got confirmation yet. So anyway, hopefully I'll have a guest on the show. In the meantime, folks, because I can. It's my show. The Views Express Live. I don't have a guest host on this show, so hey. It's interesting, folks. Very interesting. I'm going to play a little promo for something, and if you're interested, please check it out. And then I'm going to play a song on the way out of this show. So if I don't come back, shoot. I'm looking at the time, and I don't have time to play it enough. Darn it. First thing tomorrow, first thing up in the first segment of the show, I will play the song. Song's 3 minutes and 47 seconds. I don't have time to play it. Sorry. First segment of the show, I will play it. Right now I want to play a promo. I shall return. There's an N on the end of that. I shall return. As Douglas MacArthur said. I will return in 1 minute and 43 seconds. Come join Nick Larson and Brian Keller on Talk for Autism 2.0. a 12-hour internet radio broadcast to raise money for the National Autism Association and spread awareness. This will be the second time the duo have teamed up to raise awareness for autism. Both men have a personal connection to the cause, as both are parents of autistic children. Nick Larson has 2 children with autism, ages 6 years old and 4 years old. Brian Keller has a son with autism that is 9 years old. Talk for Autism has chosen the National Autism Association as the charity to receive the donations raised during the show. The mission of the National Autism Association is to respond to the most urgent needs of the autism community, providing real help and hope that all affected can reach their full potential. Talk for Autism is a 12-hour radiothon, airs April 11th, 2014, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, and is scheduled to end April 12th at 1 a.m. Pacific, 4 a.m. Eastern. To listen to the show and to get more information, go to www.talk4autism.com. April 11th is World Autism Awareness Day, and April is Autism Awareness Month. Hey folks, how you doing? Thank you very much. Just wanted to play that promo. Talkforautism.com. Check it out. April 11th. Hey, I'm going to get out of here, folks, a couple of minutes early, but I want to leave you with this. Remember, May 17th, if you are in the Reno, Nevada area, I'll be down at the rink. You know where that is if you know Reno, Nevada. I will fill you in on the details on the Free America Radio Facebook page. And, hey, you can always go to freeamericaradio.us, check the news feed that I have there, or the news blog, and I can fill you in with the details on there as well. But remember, if you're living around near or in Washington, D.C., May 16th, you better do what you got to do to take this country back, folks. If Adam Kokesh can stand in Washington, D.C. and load a shotgun with shotgun shells and get arrested for it, and he's only one person, how difficult is it going to be for hundreds of thousands of people to be arrested by the Capitol Police? You know what I'm saying? They are estimating, or they want at least 1 million people there, but even if tens of thousands, if hundreds of thousands of people show up, you know, that's going to be a big deal. That's going to be a real big deal. That's May 16th, American Spring, Washington, D.C. And, of course, you can do it in your own areas as well, around your own capitals. You know? Tell Mr. Brown to step down in California. What a freaking idiot. But anyway, folks, I don't know. I don't know, folks. You know? It's one of those things. So, you got a question? Email me, please. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. The website is freeamericaradio.us. We, the people, have the power, for we are America.